So the top pros and the partner teams in the HCS have all come together and decided we're going to update the GA list. That list now contains the Mangler, the Energy Sword, and the Drop Weapon combo. And if you're unfamiliar with what GA means, it means Gentleman's Agreement. So there's pretty much just a Gentleman's Agreement to not use the Mangler, to not use the Sword, and to not use the Drop Weapon combo when playing in competitive Halo. Now today we're going to be talking about the Sword and why I think the Sword got GA'd. I'm not really picking sides here. I'm not saying I'm against it or for it. I quite frankly don't really care that much. I'm just going to use whatever they say we can use. But today, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to make separate videos for the Mangler and for the Drop Weapon combo. Now, for the Sword, I think the three main reasons why this weapon is getting GA'd is 1, the map design, 2, sword lunge and sprint sword, and then the third reason, which is really map specific, so I don't really know if it can be a full reason, but it's the Disruptor. So I'm actually going to start with the Disruptor and just get that over with. The Disruptor is a weapon that has been broken literally since the launch of Halo Infinite. This weapon straight up just doesn't work half the time, okay? With the Disruptor, if you land 3 shots with that weapon on an enemy, it applies damage over time and has them burning for a really long time. Right now, that just doesn't happen sometimes, okay? And so what's going to happen is you're going to pick up a Disruptor, a sword guy's going to come after you, you're going to land like 3 or 4 shots, supposedly apply that damage over time, land that melee, make him one shot, and he's still going to live because the damage over time never takes effect. That's a big problem because I believe that one of the reasons why the Disruptor was even placed on recharge was so that you can have a fighting chance against the sword. But the weapon just doesn't even work sometimes right now. So are you really going to take that gamble? Probably not. The other reason is the map design. We're going to use recharge as an example again. In recharge, you have the pipe / top gold area. That whole place, that whole section of the map, which is essentially a 1x1 corridor that is home to 2 power positions, one of them being top gold, which is the most powerful position on the map. And that area also gives you access to the shock rifle. And so if you have a sword in that area, not only have you locked down 2 power positions, one of them being the most powerful position on the map, but you have also given your team access to the shock rifle, which is easily the most powerful sniper rifle in Halo Infinite and arguably the most powerful sniper rifle in the history of Halo. But that's a discussion for a different day. Not only do you have access to that, but you also now have access to the grapple. So now you got a shock rifle, sword, and grapple all on one human being, and this guy is just flying around the map wreaking havoc on everyone. Because of the way that place is designed, it makes it so incredibly easy to hold down that pipes area. So even if you don't have the grapple sword and you're not just flying around the map doing crazy things, sorting everyone in your path, you can just pick up your sword, pick up the shock rifle, sit top gold. If anyone tries to cross from control to A to break your A-B stronghold setup, you snipe them. If anyone just peeks really anywhere on the map, you snipe them. If they try to attack top gold, you just sword them. Because let's be real here, you're not breaking any setups on recharge if you're not getting rid of the guy who's top gold first. At least for most recharge setups, unless they got like an AC setup or you got like some weird hills where you don't really need attic. For example, like the bottom mid hill for King of the Hill, you don't really need attic. You really just need to block A and C, and they can have attic. That's their business. But for the most part, for most setups on recharge, if you cannot take out top gold, you will not break that setup. And so you try to take out top gold, but he has a sword. You try to fight from afar. He's got a shock rifle. And because of that sword, he was able to lock down that area in order to get that shock rifle. And then you also got to deal with the people who have grapple on top because they have that area unlocked. And it just creates a giant snowball effect. And now, you're down 150 points in strongholds and you've probably lost the game. And it's just awful. So because of that, basically what I'm trying to say is the map design really increases the sword's potency and ability to sway the outcome of a game because of how the choke points are designed and stuff like that. The third and final reason why I think they have decided to GA the sword is just how strong the sword innately is. It has an incredibly long lunge. Let's be honest with ourselves. The sword lunge is incredibly long in this game. Not only that, but you also have the ability to sprint with this sword, unlike in Halo 2 and Halo 3. You can now sprint with this sword. And so, at least back in Halo 2 and Halo 3, right? If someone was not in sword range, if you were able to bait a sword player out and they were not in sword range when they came out, they've essentially just forfeited their life there. They made a big mistake and it cost them their life, and now the enemy team probably has the sword once they die. In Halo Infinite, that's not a thing. If you peek a corner and you're not in sword range, you know what you do? You press the sprint button and you hold forward. Eventually, you're going to catch up, okay? Even if they land 2, 3, 3.5 shots even on you, it doesn't matter. Because let's say they land 2, 3 shots on you, they're like, oh shoot, okay, I landed 2, 3 shots on this guy. I can now melee trade with this guy. No. Because when they have a sword, you literally cannot melee trade with a sword holder. Now, unless you got like some weird netcode stuff happening, which happens a decent bit in Halo Infinite, where for some reason, like, you'll see 2 people backsmacking each other somehow. It's happened to me, and it's probably happened to you. That's going to happen sometimes with the sword as well, where you're going to melee trade with the sword. But under normal circumstances, you cannot melee trade with a sword. And so because of that, when you couple the ability to sprint forward and close the gap that you were not able to close in previous Halos, couple that with how long the sword lunge is, usually they're not even able to get off 4 BR shots before you're in sword range to begin with. And so you close that gap, you get into sword range, you lunge at them, you kill them, you survive, and you go heal up, you rinse, repeat. Those 3 things there are, I believe, the major reasons why the sword is getting GA'd. Now, I get it, it's a power weapon, okay? It's supposed to sway the outcome of a match. But right now, the argument is that it's too influential, okay? And once again, I'm not saying I agree with it, and I'm not saying I disagree with it, okay? I'm simply just pretty much explaining why they made the decision that they made. Right now, they believe it's too influential. It's reached a point where if someone's got a sword, you just can't move. I'm sure you've seen those recharge Slayer games. The enemy team picks up a sword and no one moves. Everyone just sits still. It's because they just can't risk it. It slows the map down to a crawl, makes it very unenjoyable. And so because of that, they've decided they're gonna GA it. Whether you agree with it or not, hey, let me know in the comment section, man. Let me know your thoughts on this GA. If you think it should stay, if you think it should go, whether you just don't even care, like whatever your thoughts are, man, just let me know in the comment section. Anyways, y'all take care.